Welcome back to the weekly Parshas show. This week we read two Torah portions, Tazreiah and Metzorah. 1 second, I'm getting a message. Good if I bring it right now. Okay, see you guys soon. Bye.
What's the passcode?
7475. Shalom Aleichem.
They don't see you. Did you get followed?
No. Baruch Hashem, love you. Follow me. Otto, would you like to share with us some words of inspiration?
Chaim Chasudim.
Chaim.
This week's Parsha talks about Tzaras. L'chayra, Tzaras is bad. What was the reason that Tzaras was on the houses? So they could find the treasures that were hidden by the Goyim. But the question is, why did they have to become Tomei?
No, what happens?
So that they can become more Torah than before.
Very nice.
This teaches us that everything in the world has a bigger picture, and everything that happens is for the good.
When I'm in Nissan, it was the Yortzeit of Rabbi Schwei AH. And I'd like to share a story in his suchus.
Oh, Chaim.
Can you turn on the radio, please?
And every day the Nazis are coming closer to our town.
We have to get out of here.
That night, the Schwei family left the town, but unfortunately, on the way, the father passed away. So the mother was left with 3 orphans to take care of. So when Mrs. Schwei arrived in the town, struggling to put food on the table, she sold her very own items of clothes, so maybe she can earn a little bit of a living.
Excuse me, can I buy that, please?
In Russia, there's communism. Communism no allows sell blue cardigan, only red. How dare you? I can send you to Siberia until you die.
Mrs. Schwei saw a chassid from Lubavitcher that she had recognized and asked if he can take her oldest son back with him to Lubavitcher so he can study in Tomei Temimim. The chassid agreed, and the next day they both left on the train to leave to Lubavitcher. Just a few months later, Mrs. Schwei saw the chassid again and asked if he can take her second son to Lubavitcher, but the chassid wasn't so excited to do so. But in the end, he agreed, and Mrs. Schwei was left at home with only her youngest son. A year later, Mrs. Schwei saw the chassid again and asked, "Can you take my third son to Lubavitcher back with you?" And the chassid replied, "There's no way I can get him into Tomei Temimim. He's only 6 years old." So 2 days later, Mrs. Schwei saw the chassid leaving back to Lubavitcher and asked if he could take a suitcase, which he claimed had clothes and sefarim in. The chassid agreed, and there he went on the train with this big, heavy suitcase. When he was sitting on the train, to his surprise, he heard crying from the suitcase. So he opened it up, and there he found Mrs. Schwei's youngest son. Before the youngest son had gone to yeshiva, his mother had promised him that one day she would come and visit him in Lubavitcher. For the first 4 weeks of little Yaakov living in Lubavitcher and Tomei Temimim, he would go to the train station every day to see did his mother arrive yet. But then he gave up hope because his mother didn't come. Every once in a while, little Yaakov would go to the train station to see, just in case his mother may have come. On one of these rare occasions of little Yaakov going to the train station, he met a beggar, and he gave him 5 rubles. And it was on that very day where he saw his mother come off the train.
You may be wondering, what's the story got to do with the Dvar Torah? Well, actually, the lesson on the Dvar Torah teaches us that there's a bigger picture that we don't always see. Everything Hashem does is for a good reason, but we may not always see it. So too in the story. Everything in the story was for a good purpose, but we may not understand. It could be the reason for all 3 sons to go to yeshiva was only for the 3rd son to give 5 rubles to that beggar in the train station. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave some comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good Shabbos, and see you next time.